Welcome all. These Edge Consultants, where we do education, information about cryptocurrencies and blockchain, and what are these fifth industrial revolution gonna do and gonna help us with. So I just want to pass this baton to Louis. He's gonna take us through our today's topic. I'll be on the chat room in case you have any question, clarification, or any suggestion. Just drop it over there. Um, I'm waiting for Luis to get ready so that we can just get started. Of course, it's been a great week, very chilly, but we're thankful. The sun is shining today. So it's all good to see all of you here. It's good to have you. Always good to host you. I hope you have a pen and paper. Let's read about market capitalization. The shift is happening, and it's happening in a huge way. I remember last year telling my friends to buy Bitcoin when it was less than $10,000, and they will think I was crazy because of the passion I have when it comes to cryptocurrencies. And today they're calling me. They want to buy at 50,000, and I'm like, yo, look for other cryptocurrencies that you can invest in, and then you can change it later to Bitcoin if the need be. So it's been a good journey. It's been an awesome journey. I think this is my fourth, fifth year in the cryptocurrency space. Always a student, always learning new things. And I love the fact that the industry is growing very fast. I think things we read about in 2018 today, some of them are obsolete. So each and every other time you're gonna keep on loading your guns. Just keep on reading, and learning from the people who've been in the space longer. Some things that were profitable 3, 4, 5 years ago are no longer profitable today. If you put your money in them, you'll just be wasting your cash, or it might take you longer enough to really recoup your money, or maybe you might never ever even recoup your cash. So of course, these are the shifts that we are seeing happening in the space, and it's been such a great pressure. So I think as I'm waiting for Louis to come on board, I think I can just start off with the news. What is happening in what has been happening in the world, as I wait for Louis to get his machine up and running. So let's go to the news. A lot has been happening in the crypto space, and allow me to share my screen so that we can just see what has been happening in the crypto space. So just screen share. Let me go there. Yes. So I hope you can all see that. And of course, I want to start off with these. A few weeks ago, we shared that the new elected president of the US had appointed a new SEC chairman. Security Exchange Commission. This is a commission that deals with regulations in terms of securities, shares, investments and stuff. And there's been a debate about Bitcoin being a security, cryptocurrencies being, tokens being securities, Bitcoin being whatever. And these are discussions that has been going on for so long, because a lot of people don't understand Bitcoin, so they didn't know how to treat it. So just the other day, it's good to know that the SEC chairman said that he said that a lot of crypto tokens are securities. And I think people who have been following Ripple, this is one of the cases that people were celebrating the other day, that Ripple was, of course, the commission said Ripple is not a security. But coming now from him saying Bitcoin is a store of value, but he calls all these other tokens security, it means that case of Ripple is null and void. So it means they have to go back and again defend these. So this is, of course, one of the news that I found, interesting, because, of course, these now will boil down to how most of these cryptocurrencies will be regulated, how they'll be treated. And when they say Bitcoin is a store of value, these other cryptos are securities. Of course, laws will change in terms of how they are treated, or how they are regulated. So Louis is now on, so I'll come back with the news later. So let me just allow Louis to start us off with today's session. So let me just make him the host so that he can take us through today's session. Welcome all. It's good to have all of you. So Louis, just take care of it.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you for the brief introduction. I took a while because I had an issue with my equipment. It's normal with the electronics, but all in all, we are good to go. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Then we get going with the exciting topic of the day, basically learning about market capitalization, because that is what I think there are some terms that people get to hear, but they don't really know what is the meaning and how they can actually use that to maybe to their advantage or maybe to learn more and basically grow confidence in this ecosystem. So I'm going to take maybe 10 to 20 minutes just to give us a breakdown. And actually, this is part of what we normally teach at on our on our sessions that we have. Actually, we are coming up with the masterclass very soon, but this will be just a sort of a preview of what is there. So I hope you can see my screen. I hope you can see my screen. So basically, what it says there, it's what is the market capitalization of an asset. So in this case, we will not only be talking about Bitcoin, but or other cryptocurrencies, but we'll compare cryptocurrencies with other sets of assets out there. So as you can see over there, the market cap of an asset is an estimate of its total value according to its current market price. Depending on the asset type, it is calculated in different ways. So we have, of course, like the three ways of defining some assets. So number one is for precious metals, the market cap is calculated by multiplying its price with an estimation of the quantity of metal that has been mined so far. These estimates are updated annually. So if you think of gold, if you think of bronze, silver, diamonds, they are all valued based on how much is in circulation and how much is the price. And if you multiply the two, that will give you the value of that particular asset class. If you go to stocks, it is calculated by multiplying the amount of outstanding shares with the current market price. And I think we'll be looking at a practical example of one of the companies here in Kenya, just to give you a visual understanding of what we're talking about. Now, to cryptocurrencies, the market cap of cryptocurrencies is calculated by multiplying the circulating supply of the coins per price. That is what it is. So it's not any difference from the rest. So you just multiply the number of coins that are in circulation with the current market price of the coin today. So Bitcoin, of course, the price is at what? The price is at that is 48. Let me just zoom that in. That is 48,608. That is the value of one Bitcoin. So if you multiply this times the number of coins that are in circulation, which is actually 18 point something coins, you'll get the value of that is $909 billion for the market cap of Bitcoin. That is the valuation of cryptocurrencies, which is actually a good amount based on the last 10 years or 12 years of its circulation. Of course, there is the part of blockchain and everything that is now on the backside, which today we're not talking about that. We're talking about the valuation of these cryptocurrencies. So going forward, what is Bitcoin dominance in relation to total market capitalization? So when you talk about dominance, you talk about dominance comes from the word dominating, as in how big the dominance of Bitcoin. I mean how much powerful it is compared to the rest of the cryptocurrencies. So there's a site called Coin 360. Let me just open it, then just to show you what I mean by dominance in terms of value, its value. So you can always actually check on this website just to get like a sense of what is happening on the entire cryptocurrency market, and it compares Bitcoin and other alternative coins. So at the moment, I think there are more than 7,000 cryptocurrencies So let's talk cryptocurrencies. I think it's taking away. I'll let you load that. I'll come back there. But nonetheless, what it means, I'll show you that. What it means is that the total value of Bitcoin takes up about 40.27% of the entire crypto market. 40%, 40.27. So that is, if you maybe go back to your high school days, if you have the pie chart, and you maybe separate the pie into six pieces of pie, depending on how you share it, some pie will be bigger, some will be smaller. So in this case, Bitcoin is taking up 40% of the entire crypto market capitalization, which is how much? Let's see over here. So that's, let me just zoom that out. So at the moment, as you can see, the dominance is at 40, actually it has changed, 40.26%. It is the biggest at the moment. But the total valuation of Bitcoin, of cryptocurrency market is about I think 2 point something trillion dollars, 2 point something trillion dollars. And I'll show you that in the next slide, just to show you how that compares to other companies that we know globally. So maybe I think I'll come back to this later in terms of the fact that at times it decreases, at times it increases. So let me go back to this just down here. Let me see whether it's there. Okay, so I think it's kind of hanging today. My computer is giving me trouble. Okay, so as I meet new people as well. So, okay. Just a moment as I get to refresh this screen. Okay. So I think it's fine now. Yeah. So this is what I actually wanted to share in terms of comparing Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to other markets out there. So let me just put this into view mode full screen so that I think it's more visible. Okay, so I took this from a website yesterday. I was when I was preparing this. So this just to show you like other companies' valuations in terms of how much big or how much small the companies are. So I don't know whether there's a name that you can see over there. I don't know whether there's a name you can see. Let me still zoom that in so you can. Okay, so I don't know. Is there any name you find familiar over there? Let me see. Maybe not this one. Maybe what? Maybe BlackRock institution. That's one of the companies, or maybe Vanguard Group. So you can see like Signature Bank. It is valued at 14.18 billion dollars. That is the value. If you look at international considered airlines, I think one of the airlines, I don't know from which country, it's valued at $14 billion. Let me go to the next slide. Yeah, I think there's another one. If you look at Coinbase, which is number in terms of ranking, number 261, Coinbase is valued at $68 billion. Heineken, I think we know Heineken, one of the international beer companies, it's valued at about $68.79 billion. That is what it means. And for Heineken, one share of Heineken is valued at what? At $119. That is, if you want to buy one share of Heineken, it will cost you $119.53. Let's look at another company, maybe the familiar Adidas. I think we know Adidas. Adidas, in terms of valuation, is about what? $68.46 billion. I know this is not what you maybe you wanted to hear more about cryptocurrencies, but let's compare what you know to what we're trying to discuss. The other company, Nintendo, I think that's a gaming company. Nintendo is valued at about $67.46 billion. Billion, that is with a B. Bayer, I think it's a pharmaceutical company. It's valued at $67.12 billion. So that just gives you an idea of how much valuable companies are out there. And of course, looking at the top 10 global like most valuable companies, of course, the most valuable company is which one? Apple, as you can see over there. What is its value? $2.125 trillion. That is the value of Apple. And the share of it goes for how much? $127. The second most valuable company is what we call Saudi Amco, that is about $1.9 trillion. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, you can see how much they are valued over there. Alibaba, Tesla, and of course, when you look at the valuation of these companies, of course, it goes hand in hand with the most richest people. Of course, from the top nine, you can see about Amazon, you can see Facebook, you can see Tencent. Tencent is, I think, is connected to Tencent and Alibaba. That is Jack Ma. Tesla, of course, we know who that is. That is Elon Musk. So it's not by default. It is just by design, as you can see over there. So let's now compare to now what we know. Comparing now these companies to what we are talking about. That is cryptocurrencies. And before talking about cryptocurrencies, let's look at now coming home to what we know. I think this is what I wanted to share earlier. I think let me see whether it can load. Because you've seen how much valuable those companies are. The most valuable company in Kenya is what? That is Safaricom. As you can see, it crossed 1.5 trillion Kenya shillings. That is early this year in February. That is about 13.9 billion US dollars. So you can see where it falls in the global comparison. Kenyan company, the most valuable is at 13.9 billion dollars, 13.9. While if you look at actually, it more or less will feature in this particular slide you're seeing right here. It may fall somewhere there. But now the other part is that comparing now that with what we were talking about, cryptocurrencies, at least now you have a perspective on what valuation means. It's the value of the company based on the market price of the share with the shares that are in circulation. So let's look at gold, because gold is the most non-commodity, and that is number one. So the value of all gold that is in circulation is about $11.611 trillion. That is gold. Coming second is Apple. Of course, there's a very big difference from gold and Apple. We have Saudi Aramco, all that. So where is Bitcoin? Where is Bitcoin over there? Bitcoin is at what? It's at number eight. That's about 916 billion dollars. So you see that is based on today's price of Bitcoin of 48. That it puts Bitcoin at number 8. That is only Bitcoin, not the entire market cap. So if you want us to know how much valuable is the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem, just go to a site called Coin Market Cap. I think that is one of the sites that you normally use, Coin Market Cap. We just open it quickly. But I hope you're getting what we're talking about in terms of as in valuations compared to now cryptocurrencies. So at the moment, the entire cryptocurrency market is valued at I think let me just zoom that in again so it's quite visible. If you see on top on top of my screen, you can see we currently have more than 9,000 cryptocurrencies. That is Bitcoin and very many others. That is Ethereum, all of that. Being traded in more than 377 exchanges. These are marketplaces. The market cap of the entire cryptocurrency is about 2.26 trillion. So with that in mind, where does it fall on what I'm showing you earlier? Let me just go back to that. So the entire market cap of cryptocurrency is 2.269 trillion. So if you come up to this chart, where will it fall? It will fall actually most likely on top of Apple. That is number 2. So that gives you where the kind of disruption cryptocurrencies has brought about in the normal in the common marketplace. But Bitcoin by its own self, it's at number 8. But if you combine Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that, it's valued at 2.2, which is actually at number 2, technically speaking, from this particular chart. So hope that gives you a perspective on the kind of ecosystem that we are dealing with. Of course, it will tend to go up and down through time. But of course, in the next 5 years, it will not be as it will not be where it is. Remember, we are trying to capture like the gold market cap of what 11.611 trillion dollars. That is for gold. So just think of it this way: if Bitcoin gets to not the Bitcoin, if cryptocurrencies valuation gets to that is what 10 trillion, how what would be the value of the top cryptocurrencies, that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest. So that gives you a perspective that these are very it's an industry that has a huge potential in terms of gains compared to what we traditionally know. So with that, I think that basically gives that was my part of what I wanted to share. But let me just go back to the last part, what I wanted to compare that why does it basically why does this dominance reduce and increase? Remember, Bitcoin dominance is at what 40%. So 40% is the entire like power, or rather how much powerful Bitcoin is out of the 100%. 100% being the 2.2 trillion. Bitcoin being at 980 something billion. So decreasing dominance simply means that Bitcoin does not take up as much as the market cap of the cryptocurrency that it one did. So basically, the more when other cryptocurrencies go in value, Bitcoin market cap will tend to reduce. And why is the case? Because of course, other altcoins capitalization are rising relative to Bitcoin. So I'm sure you've heard of people now getting into NFTs, people getting into DeFi, people getting into all sort of projects in the cryptocurrency environment. So what they do, most people sell their Bitcoins to get into these projects. So, and that's why Bitcoin dominance will usually reduce. So of course, of course when like recently when Doge was the hype, people sold their valued Bitcoin to Doge, and then now Doge has really decreased. And then again now, of course, people may be putting their money back into Bitcoin, but they realize Bitcoin is a more stable currency. That is what I can say from here. So again, what will make it increase? When people again, of course, start selling their other cryptocurrencies, or people put in money to Bitcoin. Like there's now a fiat currency. Somebody has some savings somewhere, then they decide to buy Bitcoin. So that is basically new money coming into the cryptocurrency environment, which is actually increases the dominance of Bitcoin. So, of course, what significance does it have? It basically means that the more Bitcoin dominance is growing, or the more cryptocurrency market is growing, the more adoption, the more the more we are growing in terms of use. Basically, that's what it means. Money moving away from the normal banking system to cryptocurrencies. So that this dominance basically gives you an indication on how the industry is growing. That is the key importance, or rather significance that market cap tend to have. So I think that does it for me. That is what I wanted to share today. If you have any questions based on this, just remember to chat me up on the chat, so at least you can basically like discuss this further, and basically give you more information on how you can take advantage of this particular system. And of course, remember, we're not selling anything here. We're just giving you valuable information so that you can make use and also grow confidence in what you are doing. So thank you very much. I'll be on the chat group. Just if you have any questions, let me pass the hosting rights back to Lawrence so that we can go on with the news of the day. So thank you very much, and yeah.
So awesome, 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 Luis. That was a very good analysis in terms of market capitalization, and of course, what is mind blowing for me, I think, is just to see the market cap of cryptocurrencies at $2.269 trillion. in a span of 12 years. If you think of gold was number one at 11, I think, 0.9 trillion. Gold has been there for over, I think, 4,000 years. People who've been trading gold for over 2,000 years, and it's sitting at 11.9 trillion dollars. So within 12 years, already cryptocurrency space is giving the biggest precious metal, or the biggest asset in terms of market capitalization around for its money. Just think about this. What's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years? What's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years when more people get to understand what cryptocurrencies are, more institutional investors come on board, more banks accept Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Where do you think Bitcoin price and these other altcoins, except shitcoins, will be? And I guess this is the reason as to why we tell people, if you look at market capitalization, you've noticed one thing. Bitcoin is at 40% market dominance. Ethereum is at 20. We have over 9,000 cryptocurrencies. The reason as to why we encourage people, don't put your money in any crypto without doing your own research, is because, can you imagine, all these other 660 something are sharing a market cap of only 40%, meaning most of them will never see the light of the day. And this is why we tell people, you want to get to cryptocurrency, get to learn before you make money, which is earn. You have to learn, remove the L, and then you start earning. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It takes a lot of analysis for you to put in your money into something and you make a dime out of it. Rome was not built in a day. Cryptocurrency space is the same. People who've been holding Bitcoin since 2009, January 3rd, they're smiling today. And most of them, we call them Bitcoin maximalists because they don't sell their Bitcoins. They don't. It's believed that Satoshi, the founder of Bitcoin, owns over $1 billion. Is it a million? A million Bitcoins. So, and this is the reason that's why you see a lot of institutional investors, they are not buying any other shit coins. They are not buying a lot of other cryptocurrencies. They are going for Bitcoin, and some are going for Ethereum. There's a whole lot of hype that has been going around with Dogecoin and stuff. And of course, I'll be sharing that in the news. So allow me to share my screen so that we can get to see what has been happening. But one thing I want you to have in mind is it's taken gold over 2,000 years plus to hit $11.9 trillion of market capitalization. It's taken cryptocurrency market space only 12 years to be number 2 in the whole world in terms of market capitalization. So this should also make you like, if you usually say borrow from the vision of the future, just ask yourself 10 years from now, 20 years from now, how much would this space be worth? And how much of it you as a person will you have accumulated? Or will you have hoarded in terms of you being part of what is growing right now? Because it's just like somebody who bought gold maybe 50 years ago. Today they are smiling, you know. So allow me to go to the news. I think it's just exciting to be part of what is happening. Is a revolution that I'm so proud that I got a chance to get in a few years ago. So just allow me to share my screen so that we can see what is happening across the globe. 1 second. So I had shared the first news for those who were not around. I started with these, and of course, it's something. It's an ongoing discussion that has been going through for quite some years, and this in terms of how do the lawmakers really understand Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And of course, this is a debate that has been always ongoing in terms of how do we treat cryptocurrencies? Are they securities? Are they assets? You know, how do we treat them? And of course, the new SEC chairman, a Security Exchange Commission in the US, says a lot of crypto tokens are securities. And I was saying when I started is that a lot of people have been people who follow Ripple. Um, of course, there's a case that was ongoing, and I think SSE was saying repo is a security, is a security, as a token is a security, and repo, of course, founders and developers were trying to prove that it's not a security. I think they won the first case, but now tables have turned again, and the SEC chair says Bitcoin is a store of value, good to go. And this is why I think a lot of institutional investors are coming on board. And he says a lot of other crypto tokens are securities. So of course, we're gonna see a lot of law changes when it comes to how cryptocurrencies are treated. But this, of course, also it will be based on different countries' laws, as SEC gives, of course, their way of treating cryptocurrency. So this is one of the news that I saw, and I was like, it's interesting to see. Of course, it's taken 12 years for all these regulatory bodies to recognize that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, they are not going anywhere. They are here to stay. And of course, Bitcoin has been taken as one of the major store of value. To my second news, of course, it's good also to note. Of course, we saw Bitcoin. I think it has been very volatile this past 1 week. We had, I think, two major dips in the cryptocurrencies market. And of course, I usually say volatility is part of what we enjoy for people who are in the crypto space. And of course, it's good to note that the number of institutional Bitcoin wallet, and when we talk about institutions, we are not talking about individuals. We're talking about hedge funds. We're talking about banks. We're talking about, I've seen even insurance companies coming on board. All these institutions that do deal with money. You can see the number of institutional Bitcoin wallets with over 100 Bitcoins to 1,000 coins resumes to grow. Glassnode is one of the top analysis company that does very nice analysis in terms of Bitcoin distribution and how wallets are distributed and all these. These are people you can follow for more info in terms of analysis. They do a lot of great work. Now let's see how much 100 Bitcoins is worth with the current price. So if today you're holding 100 Bitcoins, you'll be worth $4.8 million. And you can see right now, institutions, the growth of Bitcoins being held by institutions between 100 and 1,000, which means between $4.8 million to $48 million is growing day by day. It's growing day by day. So this tells you money is flowing now from old ways or old institutions to the new norm, which is cryptocurrency. And it's exciting. It's exciting to see these. To my next news, of course, we go to Miami, and Miami Mayor Francis Suarez says what? He told Ethereum Summit, there was a summit, the Ethereal Summit, that Bitcoin today is in a similar position to Uber in 2014. And the quote that caught my attention is like, he said, it's too big to be regulated. And I think this is where I think most of these regulatory bodies missed it. Because when Bitcoin was growing, when it was still very young, and you can imagine, like in 2014, Bitcoin was below $200. And uh, you can imagine he's saying, just imagine how big was Uber in 2014 and how big Uber is today. And he's comparing Bitcoin like in Uber in 2014. This tells you if you are here and you're learning about Bitcoin today, you're still very early. Because you can imagine those people who got Uber cars in 2014, they made a kill, especially here in Africa. Uber used to give people a lot of returns. But today, if you get an Uber, so you can imagine he's taking you back how many years? 6 years, 7 years back. And this tells you very early when it comes also to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. These are some of the news you should keep eyes and so that you can know what are other people thinking about this industry and where do they see Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, of course, blockchain as a technology heading in the next few years. Moving on swiftly, of course, I think we have mentioned about India several times, and of course, the government banning, cryptocurrency. Again, they come, they say, we are not against cryptocurrency. And of course, a former finance secretary urges Indian government to encourage crypto services and regulate cryptocurrency. Of course, the regulation, I usually say innovation precedes regulation. And I think the best way I think these bodies, regulatory bodies, can really understand crypto is if they see crypto in use. Because it's very hard for you to regulate something you don't, number one, want to learn, number two, you don't want to understand. So I do believe, of course, he has a point that if we can encourage people to use cryptocurrency, we'll know how to regulate it. We'll know how to deal with it. And I think this is a very good approach, of course, the former finance secretary gave to the Indian government. Of course, that's something to note. To another country, we go to Cuba. Um, and of course, Cuba to fight financial disturbance by potentially adopting crypto. And we know, of course, what is happening is that a lot of countries have suffered what we call inflation and still going on. And a hedge against inflation in most countries, what are the potential hedges do we have? And number one is gold. Number two is what? Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. So you can see, of course, the president of Cuba, Miguel Diaz-Canel, plans to cope with the economic turmoil in the country via the help of cryptocurrency. So you as an individual, this is why I usually just tell all my friends, you as an individual, what are you doing also to hedge your part of your portfolio in crypto? Because if a government is thinking cryptocurrency is something that's going to be big, or we can hedge against such things as hyperinflation and inflation, what are you doing as a person? And this food for thought. Just ask yourself. We've seen over, I think, 7 point something trillion dollars being printed in the last 12 months in the US. And we know if of course, a lot of money in circulation causes inflation. What are you doing to also cover your back? This is not a financial advice, it's just food for thought. What is it that you're doing as a person? Or are we going to wait until now the government tells us, this is good, this is not good and stuff? And this is why we usually encourage people, do your own research, understand, look at these news. Why, as a country, why should somebody think of using cryptocurrency as a hedge? Moving on swiftly, let's go to EU. And of course, we can see here EU county. Someone who's just allow me to mute everyone. Okay, all muted. So sorry about that. So we go to EU, and of course, EU country to reduce cryptocurrency tax by 50% to attract billions to its budget. Look at how these countries are doing. But now it's also good to note that, of course, this country had already come up with the rate to tax, and their current rate was at 30.5%, which is way too high. And these are some of the things I usually say they don't really encourage people to they hinder people from using cryptocurrencies, because if you're paying taxes over around 30%, that's way too high. So of course, Hungary economic minister has announced that they are going to reduce the tax slash the tax 15%, of course, from 30.5%. It's good to know that. So, and why are they doing that? Is to encourage more people to attract more billions of its budget to go to cryptocurrencies. This is another very good news. Of course, moving on to China, I think we've talked so much about governments coming up with their own digital currencies. For those people who are new here, it's good to note that we have three types of digital currencies. We have cryptocurrencies, which are fully decentralized, and they are, of course, money by the people, for the people. We have what we call CBDCs. central bank digital currencies. And China has been big in testing its own digital yuan. And you can see Alipay, we all know Alipay, is one of the biggest China's e-payment giant now allows users to link their account to the country's digital yuan app. So these are some of the things I've been saying this whole decade, because I think I was doing a research and I saw over 54 central banks currently, they are working on coming up with the CBDC, central bank digital currency. And then the other type of digital currency is what we call tokens and stablecoins. That's a topic for another day. Moving on swiftly to another part of the world, and let's go to Israel. And of course, this again about CBDC, and the Bank of Israel has drafted a model of a digital shekel. So this is something you're gonna see with a lot of companies as people are turning into a cashless society, where like your normal Kenya shillings, your normal euro, dollars will be in a digital format. You cannot see it, you cannot touch it, but of course, the value of it is tokenized. It's in digital format. So the Central Bank of Israel has offered a glance of what a digitalized version of the national fiat currency may look like. According to a released draft model of the coin, Israelis should be able to use digital shekel in payments even offline. That's great. So you can use it online and offline and convert it into cash at any moment. The Israeli Central Bank digital currency, CBDC, will provide some privacy. It's good to note that. To provide some privacy, but not anonymity. One of the key things about decentralized cryptocurrencies, what do they provide? Privacy, and they are pseudo-anonymous. You can deal without even getting to know who you're dealing with. Of course, CBDCs won't have a lot of privacy. And the second thing is that you won't be anonymously sending and receiving cash. So moving on to Nebraska, of course, there's a bill that has been passed allowing banks to offer crypto services. It moves forward. So Nebraska senators have favored a measure that will allow state banks to facilitate cryptocurrency transaction like those in Wyoming. And this is why I tell people, for those people who are saving money in their bank, and this is not a financial advice. I was, in fact, I was discussing with one friend of mine, and I was telling them, if you totally don't want to learn and understand cryptocurrency, your own bank will invest your money in cryptocurrency with or without your permission. It's gonna happen. It's just a time. It's just a matter of time. And of course, monkey sees, monkey do. So of course, it doesn't mean that banks here in Africa, they're not watching what is happening across the globe. They're doing their own research, and of course, they're gonna make moves. And you better be ahead of them before they make those moves. Now, moving on to Texas, of course, it's good to also note that Texas House passes crypto-friendly bill now goes to Senate. It's beautiful to see that a lot of states, especially in the US, which were so much against Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, they have seen what they have missed and they are ready to get to the next level. So Governor Grant Abbott has already hinted he's open to signing the bill into law. And why are they coming with these bills? It's to encourage people in their states to use more cryptocurrency. Because we know, of course, if half of Nairobi or wherever country you are in, if half of the people are holding Bitcoin and Bitcoin moves from $48,000 to $100,000, what has happened? The economy has grown by double. This is the beauty about people learning and getting to understand what is happening across the globe. So it's good to see that a lot of states, a lot of countries are looking forward to coming up with crypto-friendly laws and regulations. Moving on swiftly to another bank, of course, it's good to know that the DBS private bank launches crypto trust offering. And this is what I mean. If you don't believe in cryptocurrency and you have some money in the bank, they'll bring it to you. So Singapore's DBS Private Bank has announced the launch of Asia's first bank trusted offering for cryptocurrencies. This is just amazing. I'm seeing these news and I'm just like, 2018 when we started with Bitcoin 101s, myself with Louis, and we would tell people it's going to happen one day that banks will be accepting cryptocurrencies. And of course, it's good to see that it's happening, and it's happening very fast. Moving on swiftly, we all know MoneyGram. We all know MoneyGram. And MoneyGram to allow retail Bitcoin buying in the US. So they're bringing you right to your doorstep. Now, MoneyGram customers in the United States will soon be able to buy Bitcoin in the country's retail address across the country. This is just amazing. This is just amazing news. And these are the news that just make me be proud of being part of a revolution that is happening. It's just exciting. Now, moving on swiftly, of course, there's this billionaire who made my week because I think there's something I had shared on Facebook. I think I'll come back to these in a nutshell. And it was about what? Billionaire Drunken Miller says a ledger-based system could replace USD worldwide, the dollar. Of course, he thinks some kind of crypto derived ledger system may replace the US dollar as a world's reserve currency in the future. And I think I shared something on Facebook, and you allow me to share my Facebook in a few, just to show you how many years has taken a certain currency to be the reserve currency, the global reserve currency. And I think in his interview, Drunken Miller said in the next 14 to 15 years, he doesn't think the US dollar will be the global currency. He doesn't think it will be the global currency. He says in the next 15 years, of course, it will lose its overall world reserve currency. And let me just look for that news on my Facebook page so that we can just get clarity of what he really talked about. Just give me 1 second. Let me get these news. So that, of course, we also, it's good to get to understand and know what other currencies were the reserve currencies before the US dollar. Before the US dollar, which other currencies were the reserve currencies, and how long did it take them to become the? Yeah, I've seen it. So just allow me to stop share, and I share my screen again. Just 1 second. So I hope we are finding value in what we are sharing. So of course you can see this is the news. It was in CNBC. We watched these clips with Louis. Of course, these are some of the things we do in our office, just to get to understand where is the world heading. And you can see Stanley Druckenmiller just said on national television that he believes the US dollar will lose reserve currency status in the next 15 years. In the next 15 years. And just for clarity, it's good to note the first reserve currency was the British pound. Let me just mute. There's somebody who is not in mute. Sorry about that. So the British Reserve, of course, currency status lasted for 105 years. 105 years. France was next, and the reserve currency status lasted for 95 years. Spain came on board, and then it served as a reserve currency for 111 years. And of course, to date, the US dollar is the reserve currency, and its status is on the year 99. And Drunken Miller, you can see from what he shared, he said, of course, he doesn't see the US dollar as a reserve currency in the next 15 years. It's good to note. So there's some of the news that have been going on the whole of this week. And of course, it's exciting to see what people are thinking, what people are predicting. And of course, we pray to God that we'll be alive to see some of these things come to pass. So moving on to my almost last news, let's go to Ukraine. And of course, Ukraine's public radio launches podcast with an episode on Bitcoin. This is amazing because these are countries, Ukraine is one of the countries that is big in terms of crypto adoption, and you can see it's good to see that people there, they are looking forward to giving people the right information, because it will also help people steer away from scams. And this is one of the reasons as to why we started Bitcoin 101, because with the right information, you will know which steps to take and where you should invest your money into. So, of course, in an attempt to expand and diversify its audience, the public radio of Ukraine has recently entered the world of podcasts. Listeners have been invited to choose among a variety of topics and genres. A podcast devoted to personal finance management and financial literacy kicks off with an episode about Bitcoin. And why I'm so excited is because one of the my mentors in the crypto space is from Ukraine. And of course, just to see these when it was being, in fact, when they were launching these, he was in one of the Bitcoin blockchain that was going on in that country, and it's just amazing to see. And I cannot wait to see such things happening in Africa, where like we have people coming to just educate people on our social media, on our radio stations about blockchain and digital currencies without basically having to sell anything. I can't wait to see this. So these are some of the things that I look forward to in the near future. So of course, now again, if you're a Samsung mobile phone lover, if you really like Samsung phones, there are good news about Samsung. And of course, it's good to note Samsung adds support for crypto hardware wallets to Galaxy smartphones. So if you use Galaxy smartphones, you'll be able now to store your crypto assets offline. By offline, I mean a hardware is something that you just connect to online when you're using your cryptos. Otherwise, your cryptos will be offline. So Samsung Galaxy smartphone owners can now use a third-party hardware wallets with the Samsung blockchain wallet app. This is just amazing. They launched this app, I think I think it was 2018, 2019. That's when they were talking about these. And it's good to see that they have partnered with hardware wallets, including Ledger Nano S and Nano X in its Galaxy smartphones. Now you can buy your cryptos and you're able to store your cryptos offline. And it's good to see that mobile phones also don't want to be left behind when it comes to crypto adoption and also growth of blockchain technology. Now, to other news, some news that made this week is that Mike Zuckerberg posts a photo of Bitcoin on Facebook, and guess what? He has two goats. Let me look for that tweet. It was somewhere. Let it load. So of course, this is a photo that Mike Zuckerberg posted not only on Twitter but on Facebook, and he has these two goats, and one goat is called Max, and the other one is called Bitcoin. And of course, there are so many things and analogies that came around after he posted these, with a lot of people saying, if you understand what Mark Zuckerberg is trying to say, is that he's a Bitcoin maximalist. He's a Bitcoin maximalist. That's why he has Max and Bitcoin named the two goats. Other people were saying the next thing you'll see is that maybe Facebook will be they will have Bitcoin on their ledger. These are some of the things that I was just reading on Twitter, because this is what he said. He has two goats, and one is called Max, the other one is called Bitcoin. These are some of the things that, of course, and they were just bringing news and a lot of discussions on their. So you can see like this certain tweet is one of the tweets that one of the gentlemen called Kevin Rook said. Mark Zuckerberg has a god named Bitcoin and a company with a 20 billion of cash on their balance sheet. You do the math. So these are some of the speculations that people are just talking on Twitter. And I think it has been a very interesting, of course, week on Twitter. And of course, we are waiting to see what did he really want to pass across with him posting two goats named Max and Bitcoin. So to other news, let's go to the man of the week. And I think this is the man who has taken Twitter on fire the whole of this week with a lot of discussions happening. And the gentleman is, of course, Elon Musk. And Elon Musk pulled some strings just a few weeks ago. He said you can buy a Tesla car using Bitcoin. And of course, he's been shilling Dogecoin. There's a word called shilling, Dogecoin. And of course, a lot of people have lost money. We usually say you get wrecked. And a lot of people have made money if they knew what they were doing when somebody shields a crypto. So Dogecoin is one of the crypto that started as a joke coin. It's a meme coin. It doesn't have any tangible use case or fundamentals. It started as a joke. And in fact, today on Twitter, there's a guy I follow and he was saying he misses when Dogecoin was Dogecoin before all this hype. And these are some of the people who started with Dogecoin long time ago. So of course, again, Elon Musk says the reason is why, in fact, Bitcoin had its last drop. It's believed it was after Elon Musk claimed that Bitcoin mining is using a lot of power. And of course, he went ahead to ask people on Twitter whether he should include Dogecoin as a way of paying, was it for Tesla cars or for space? I think something like that. And of course, within, I think, was it 2 minutes? We had over 200,000 votes. We were watching that with Louis, and it was just amazing. And again, now he tweeted again and he said he's working with Doge developers on potential payment improvements. And of course, it's brought a lot of engagement and discussion on Twitter. And these are some of the things we read just to get to understand what is really happening in the crypto space. And of course, in fact, this is a tweet I was talking about. He tweeted and said, "Do you want Tesla to accept Dogecoin?" And of course, these some of the things I'll be following very closely. Myself, I don't own any Dogecoin, but of course it's bringing a lot of attention and a lot of news in the crypto space. So this is something I'll be following closely just to see how it will end, and I pray it ends well. I pray it ends well. So to other news, of course, it's good to note that Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin donates over $1 billion to India COVID relief fund and other charities. So you can see most of these people who have really made a lot of money. I think also when Ethereum hit $4,000 in terms of price, of course, Vitalik, which is, I think he is 23 or 24 years old. He started, I think, Ethereum when he was 19, as a co-founder when he was 19 years old. He became a billionaire in dollars. He hit the mark of a billionaire when Ethereum hit, of course, $4,000. These are some of the news that, of course, have been going around. So he has donated $1 billion in terms of charity. It's good to note that. And that was my last news. Of course, I do pray and hope you enjoy everything we share with you. Of course, we try to balance each and every other thing. I don't think there's anything major that has happened in Africa apart from Tala we shared last week. Tala is, of course, they are partnering with was it MasterCard? Visa card to bring crypto closer to the city. And of course, we know a lot of people in Africa, we all know that loan app called Tala. So this gives you an idea of where companies are looking at and what they really want to get into. So I'm sure Luis has been answering all your questions on the chat room. We are already 9 minutes past our time. It's always good to see all of you here. And sorry. Okay. Let me check. Let me just go through what has been happening on the chat room. And of course, if you want to join our Telegram channel, Louise had shared on the chat room. Kindly do that. Let me just check. whether there's any question. If you have any question, just drop it. Okay, Chris asked, will the banks at some point take over the trading platforms? Okay. Let me just check any question that has been there so that we can just answer them. Okay, Anthony says interesting comparison in market caps, mind blowing. Okay, great. Lillian says, wow, that's okay. Lawrence and BBLK, imagine that. Okay, thanks for that compliment, Anthony and Lillian. Okay, Uber market cap valuation. Okay, Imitia says, Louis Lawrence, thank you for important information. Very enlightening. I need to excuse myself. It's good always to have you around. Okay, let's see. So Chris asks, will the banks at some point take over trading platforms? I think, Chris, just to answer you, this has happened so much. I think there's so many banks, even we've been sharing in our Bitcoin 101s, even in Europe and stuff, who already they have taken crypto trading and they are already allowed to do crypto trading. So yes, it's happening. JP Morgan, we all know JP Morgan and Chase Bank from the US. They are big in terms of crypto adoption and stuff. So it's happening. It's only that I think in Africa, banks are not really open enough to talk about this. But in Europe and all these other places, US, Asia, yes, banks have started doing, of course, coming up with trading platforms. Let me see. So I think that was the only question we had. Okay, Anthony asks, would you mind commenting about your thoughts on XRP? XRP is one of the cryptocurrencies called Ripple. And of course, I don't know what to say about Ripple, but I think it's a discussion we've been having with Louis for the longest time, ever, since 2018. And to be honest with you, Ripple is one of the cryptos that has a lot of banks and financial institutions invested in. And Ripple, I think the use case, it wanted to do away with the SWIFT banking system. You see the way people send money using SWIFT. So it was more so, I think the use case was to help intercountry bank transfers. And I remember there's a time the CEO of Ripple said, we are not coming to partner with SWIFT, we are coming to get SWIFT out of the market. That was, I think, in 2019, 2018 there. And one key thing that I noted when I was doing, we were doing research for Ripple is that Ripple, the two founders of Ripple, I think by that time they owned over 61% of all Ripple. So for me, that makes it more centralized than a decentralized project, because there's no way you'll be holding over 51% of a crypto and I put my money in it. That's my own thoughts and my own feelings. Louis can share his thoughts. So I've not touched Ripple. And just the other day, we were just laughing with Louis because there's a screenshot I did in 2018 of the top cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and I shared on Facebook. And just yesterday, we were comparing how many X's have they done from 2018 to date. Bitcoin was around, when I was doing that screenshot, Bitcoin was around, I think, $8,000. Ethereum was 173, right? Or no, 790 something. Today Bitcoin is at 40 something, $48,000. Ethereum is at $4,000. So do the math, do the number of X's. I don't want to really. For Ripple was at 0.78 in 2018. Today Ripple is at 1.4 something, which means it's only done 1x. And I was like, whoa. So for me, I'm like, I won't tell people not to buy, it's for you to do your own research and get to know what to invest in. But of course, for me, I don't hold any Ripple. So any thoughts about that question, Luis?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, Anton, actually, because maybe Ripple is, of course, I give them credit because they have done a lot of partnership. partnerships with very many banks and institutions. That is what I think I can commend them for. They have been doing lots of partnership, lots of like basically getting people to use the platform. But what and this is our view. Of course, this is not financial advice. Anything we discuss is not should be deemed as financial advice, but just our thoughts from where we sit, which is actually maybe biased at times, but it's that's what it is. The key thing that Lawrence has mentioned that the fact that the core shareholders of the company, or the co-founders, own the most amount of Ripple, that is the tokens. So, meaning in case they ever want to sell more of it, of course, you know what will happen to the price. Secondly, I think the first news that Lauren shared, maybe once he can share the link, the first, whereby he said that the SEC chairman says Bitcoin is the only store of value, and then all these other cryptocurrencies are securities. So that in line, if you think about Ripple and what they have been going through in the past, I think 6 months, trying to weigh that path of security or or digital assets. So that will have a very big implication on Ripple's future. But of course, everything here is they always say risk what you can afford to lose. That is what you can say. But most probably do your own research. But that is what I can give my thoughts on in terms of Ripple. I think on the other question that Anthony had asked, that is in relation with what's going on with CBDCs around the world. I think it would be very difficult for governments out there to use Ripple as their central bank digital currencies, because you know government is all about control, and with control they want to control their own blockchains, their own systems. So they wouldn't want to outsource like, and that is of course that has been the biggest problem with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a currency that is out there. They don't have control, so I don't think they will have anything to do with Ripple. But of course, they will try and see how to tackle that. But nonetheless, that is what I can say. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and just to add on what Luisa just shared, why cryptocurrencies came, I usually say it was for privacy, security, and transparency. Those three key things. This is the reason as why cryptographers sat down and they just wanted to come up with a currency that has privacy, it has security, and of course, transparency, security, and trust. Those three key things. Now, for you to gain that, something does not need to be centralized. It has to be decentralized. And this is the reason as to why, like Louis has said, if you look like digital yuan, you're getting a wallet on your phone straight from the central bank. And this is the other question a lot of people are asking: what will happen to the middle banks? Because if I'm getting a wallet from the central bank and I can have my money here, digital Kenya shillings, for example, that is connected, my wallet is connected to the central bank, and I can pay and do all transaction without a middleman, what will happen to the banks and stuff? I think these are some of the questions that CBDCs are raising. So for me, I don't think, like Luis has said, government is all about control. And if there's something it's not on their power, they will always not use it. So for them, they will go for more CBDCs than all these, even if their coins are centralized. They can just borrow the blockchain model and stuff, come up with something from their own, which they have control over, like what Digital Yuan has done, e-krona in Sweden. There's a digital dollar being tested by MIT research institution. Euro also in Europe, we have a digital euro, a very big document of suggestions that the European Union, of course, they sent out so that they could get views from people in the UK, in Europe, just to share about digital euro. So I think we're going to see a lot of CBDCs. But remember, this is just your normal shillings, your normal euros, your normal dollars, but in a digital format where you cannot see them, you cannot touch them. So if you want more privacy, if you want more anonymity, if you want more transparency, you know where to go. You know where to go. Of course, we talk of lesser fees, no transaction or no conversion charges when you're doing transactions, and this is what cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin came to offer us. So just to an addition of what Louis was talking about. So with that, I don't think I have anything to add. So all I can do is to wish all of you a great weekend. Blessings, and of course blessings to everything that you are doing, your businesses, blessings to your family. Let's continue reading, let's continue learning. Be an open book. Just leave your cup half empty and read. Do your own research. Don't believe anything and everything you see on the social media. Go an extra mile of trying to really understand what is it something. What if this somebody? I always ask, what if somebody is trying to sell me something? So for me, that's why I usually research a lot in everything I want to get into. So that's my parting shot. Blessed weekend. God bless you. Let's see each other again next week on Saturday. If you've not joined our Telegram channel, kindly join. And the other thing is that, of course, let's continue learning. The crypto space is just beginning. Any parting shot, Louise? So we are all good. God bless you all.